My name is Kevin. I'm not a dancer. I don't know how to do the worm. Welcome back, folks. We did it. We saved America. We were in trouble, and we did it. America is saved thanks to us. Pollution, war, poverty, hate, crime, racism, sexism, they're gone. We fixed it. I call that my friend's dad is the general manager of a beloved Massachusetts strip club, and it's not that beloved. Most people I know seem to think it's actually not one of the better ones. But I called him up. I said, condolences to your dad, because, you know, of course, Kamala Harris, our first vice president in United States history, first woman vice president.
What you mean, our future first woman president?
Future first president, yeah. Because, you know, Biden did his job. He got the racists to vote Democrat, and, you know, now they're going to shuffle him out. They'll put Kamala up on the pedestal, and sexism will be illegal, folks. Fix sexism. Made it illegal. So goodbye to that strip club. They had a good run, but I just can't see it surviving this climate. You know, do we want America to be saved, or do we want to have strip clubs, folks? We're making some sacrifices here. You know, I think, you know, the strip club should actually be, maybe they could just rebrand as an empowerment club, where, like, every white man, they can give money, but they also have to get down on their hands and knees and apologize for being straight white men who ruin the world. And, you know, all the women, they can get naked, but in a way that empowers them. Like, maybe, I think really the way to fix it is to have it just only be a plus-sized woman at the strip club. Because when a skinny woman is naked, that's not empowering. It's gross and vile, and it's disgusting, and you're fetishizing the naked body, which is a learned behavior, right? No one has ever looked at a naked body and just been turned on. You're taught that from television and movies. You're taught that from Titanic and, you know, all those filthy. Titanic is canceled. Canceled movie. Sexualized the female body. Naked body. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Canceled. It's done. It sexualized the male body. You saw, you know, Jason Segel's penis. I won't stand for it. Don't sexualize nudity, folks. We're doing things a little bit differently now. We saved the country. We saved the country. Here with us today is Matt Fanikos. He was 22 minutes late. Said he'd be there in 10, and he was not. Would you say you'd be there in 10 and then take a shower?
I said I'd be there in 10.
Yeah. He's 22 minutes late. He's 2 feet from the microphone. He's what is he doing? He's not even on the camera.
He's like a secret character or something.
He's some kind of, he doesn't want to be on camera because he, you know,
Should I flip it?
he works at the strip club.
Why don't you switch?
And he's very embarrassed about losing his job.
We should have done that from the start. No, just sit right there.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
I'm just the engineer.
We're fixing things.
No, just sit right there.
Sorry, Dave. You're out of the frame. Don't worry. He'll still be on a mic. We'll still have him chime in.
I got canceled.
He got canceled. Sorry, folks. Dave used to have that show at, you know, Bunker Hill where he, you know,
Talk political.
he blamed brown people for our problems, and now he's canceled. The mob has found the old footage. So we got to get him off the frame. You know, we don't want this show to get canceled.
You know, Dave and I were on the same high school wrestling team.
You're on the same high school wrestling team. Did you ever wrestle the marathon bomber?
I did not. I know some people that
lame.
did.
I know
Yeah,
Uri
I think he
Shatil.
had graduated by then.
Uri Shatil.
Well, he was only 1 year ahead of us. I believe.
Oh, really?
Uri
And,
Shatil, yeah.
yeah.
Uri
What
lost
class
to
of
him.
Al Qaeda high was he?
He was, you know, most agree that he was like a solid 9.7. He was too cute to execute. That was the headline when he came out. Boston Herald. Yeah, no, good stuff. So Matt, you know, Matt's claim to fame is that he got a beloved open mic shut down in Cambridge, Massachusetts once, and then, you know, naturally due to racism, they had to shut down the entire venue, Improv Boston. It's now out of business. So you're looking at the guy, the groundbreaking, controversial comedian who did that here. I'm just kidding, of course. It was all a scam. It was a setup. It's all set up. And you think it was a setup? They were trying to shut that shit down, and they said we can't blame this on ourselves. You know, it's kind of like the Democrats, when they lost, they blamed third-party voters. Like, they thought that, like, the 7 people who voted for Jill Stein somehow got Trump elected. You know, so Matt was really the Jill Stein of that venue closing.
She asked for a recount, and then Trump got like 150 more votes or something in one area.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, you should always be counting.
Probably.
I like to recount. I like to recount a time when we were young and innocent, and we just smoked a joint by the pond and listened to the sound of the frogs and the leaves and the wind, and, you know, things were simpler then. Obama was president. You know, racism had been ended, and then it started again. Kind of an ebb and flow. Hopefully it never... I think we rendered it for good this time. Kamala's president. We saved it. We did it, folks. We did it. And I actually just found out something very upsetting earlier today. Did you know that Donald Trump is actually not dead? I know. So we did it, but for some reason Trump is still alive. I guess maybe we're going to keep him alive to, you know, torture him in some sort of waterboarding underground situation. But really would have thought that in this perfect society that we've solved everything, Donald Trump and Amy Coney Barrett and Mitch McConnell would be dead.
We need them back for season 2, though.
I'm a little confused as to how they're still alive when I was under the impression that we did it. We did it, guys. We did it. So, yeah. If you could please write into the show, maybe message me, Twitter, Instagram, follow me on TikTok, whatever, subscribe to my YouTube, just shoot me a message and explain how it is that we did it and that those individuals are still alive. I refuse to believe that we didn't do it. So if your theory has something to do with the fact that we didn't do it, then shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that at all. All I want to hear is that we did it. However, something, you know, maybe if you're a lawyer, like, I don't want some Reddit conspiracy theorist or something. I don't care about your fucking opinion. I want Harvard-educated political scholar explaining to me exactly how he did it, because this is a bias that I need confirmation on. We did it. How do you think they're going to get rid of Biden?
Jeez, I don't know.
I think they're just going to leave a trail of candy from the White House all the way just, like, you know, into the nearest the Potomac River, and he's just, you know, he'd be like, "Hey, look at here. Hey, look at here. Hey, look at here," and then, you know, splash down.
Or they can just stop giving his brain steroids, and they'd be like, everyone's like, "Oh, he's got the Alzheimer's. How come the media didn't report that?"
I wonder if the brain steroids that they're giving him, which may or may not be derived from a 16-year-old woman's adrenal gland, young woman, you know, I don't want to get in trouble for saying 16-year-old woman. That might lead people to assume some things. But yeah, they extract the adrenal gland from the pubescent woman's, and they give it to Biden. And, you know, eventually someone's going to realize that there's no modeling camp or cheerleading camp or whatever they think's going on there. But, you know, they're doing a pretty good job hiding it. But yeah, I guess they'll probably just taper him off. Maybe they'll start giving him like an 18-year-old's adrenal gland, and then like a little bit later a 22-year-old's, and then, you know, it doesn't have as much of an effect, you know.
What's the deal? That makes that the conspiracy theory that makes taking the adrenal gland. What is the?
Well, you milk the adrenal gland and you create adrenochrome. Also, I think there's some sort of sect that believes that they're just like kind of slitting their throats and drinking their blood or performing a blood transfusion
to look younger.
Yeah.
What is this, Hostel Part 2?
I actually saw Hostel Part 3 once, but it was not voluntary. I was hungover in my top bunk in a freshman in college, and my roommate watched it on his laptop, and I couldn't move, so I just kind of sat there and watched Hostel Part 2 horizontally, and Hostel Part 3, and it wasn't good.
Not the weirdest movie I've ever seen.
But I do imagine that, yeah, that kind of behavior is definitely going on.
In our own backyards.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you consider a private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands to be our own backyards, then quite. But as I've said before on this program, I think that Jeffrey Epstein's island was like the Knott's Berry Farm, or the Canopy Lake Park, you will, of pedophile islands. I think there's still like a big kahuna, you know, a Six Flags or even a Disney World of pedophile islands out there that we're just scratching the surface, you know.
Maybe one day we'll discover the mythical Penn Island that was all the talk in third grade.
Penn Island.
I believe, yeah, PennIsland.com. The island of Penn. Or what about Pan Island? What about Pan's Labyrinth? That'd be cool, if you opened up like a theme pedophile island and it was like themed after Greek mythology, and it's like we don't worship these gods. It's just like a cheek, like how they have, Sweden and Disney World, and it's like this is Pan's Labyrinth, and like you're running through the labyrinth, and it's like a hall of mirrors, and there's activities. Like people bring their own kids, but the kids that they bring are not allowed to talk to the kids who are not there voluntarily, who think that they were going to modeling camp or whatever, or.
This was in the brochure.
That would be funny. Wouldn't it be funny if a kid ended up on a pedophile island because he thought he was going to something stupid like mime college? Just like not one of the, like I kind of get the whole like, hey, you're a 16-year-old girl and people tell you have unrealistic dreams, but you're going to come to modeling school. And then, you get shipped off to the island. But it would also be funny if it was like, hey, weirdo, come to mime camp. And he's like, yes, someone finally sees me for who I am. So hard to find kombucha in this town. I wanted a booch, folks. All I got is seltzer. We're rocking the Polar, raspberry lime. Got to stick with the classics. I got a cranberry lime for when I'm done. Matt, what have you been up to?
Not much. I mean, well, I started working again. I started going back in person for teaching and
teaching children.
Oh, no. High schoolers. Some are not children. Some are over 18 now. But it's good to be back in person. It's good get out of the house. I mean, it's been rough.
That's good. I started working also, but it's remote, so it's actually not that
bad. Which one did you end up taking?
I'm not going to talk about my employment situation on this show where I just talked about sending kids to mime school and actually having it be a pedophile island. But
fair.
I took one that seemed appealing to me. It was actually the only place that gave me a job offer, which was relieving. And I passed a background check, so now I can start promoting the podcast. I don't need to worry about any of the shit coming up on a background check.
Good.
And it's fun. And also, I can't talk about my employer because of the fact that now people are coming for me because of my viral TikToks. I've made enemies, so I'm not even gonna I'm never even gonna put it on LinkedIn. Because I don't think I even talked about this on the last episode of the pod because we had Tommy O'Deed and he was nuts. And by the way, you may be thinking, what, is it going to be a guest every week situation? Get out of here. Sometimes. It's just a coincidence. Sometimes guests, it happened to be 2 in a row. Matt and I are doing serious business here. We decided to do the pod. Your mother wanted a son. And instead, she got a huge pussy who asked if it's going to be a guest every week situation. So let's relax, okay?
He must be from Reddit.
Yeah, why doesn't he celebrate instead? Because we did it. We saved the country. Whew. Anyways, so I had a TikTok that popped off a little bit, got like 52, I think it's like 54,000 views now. And I woke up this one morning. And it's like clearly me doing like a fake accent where I'm like, you're from Boston if your mother was a large ice regular. Like, and then this girl's commenting on it saying like, bet you're from some random town. That accent is so fake. And it's just like, okay. Like, a few people had said that, but she went to several of my videos and started just talking shit. And I didn't know who she was. And it was like, I hadn't even had my coffee yet. And it's also like, yeah, the accent is fake. I also said that my mom was a beverage. So, yes. It's joke. Many people seem to get the joke. That's why the video got a lot of likes. But, it's not my best work. It's just that regional stuff pops up on TikTok. And there's a lot of like really stupid, cringy videos on TikTok that are like, you're from Boston. And there's like, they're not funny. So I was kind of just doing like a parody of that. I got to double dip a little bit. I got to make fun of things I think is obnoxious. And I got to take advantage of the algorithm's regional boosting thing. So anyways, I find a video of hers and she has this joke that I've already heard before. She posts where she says, it was her most recent video, and she says, my dad really screwed up because he was actually a good father, so now I trust men, and then a laugh track played. So I noticed this girl, she has, in the history of her page, she has like 3,000 likes, and she has 22.6 thousand followers, meaning that her followers are obviously fake, like she purchased them, because she's in it to win it. So I commented on her video and I said, I'm glad you put in that laugh track. Now I know which part you thought was funny or was intended to be funny. And then that really set her off. She started commenting on all my videos. She was saying all this shit. She got really upset about a comment she perceived to be anti-Semitic that I made in one of the videos. It was a little bit, but it was hilarious. Again, joke video. There's a part in the video where I say, I'm doing Boston neighborhoods and what it says about you. And then I say, Roxbury? Yeah, nice try. I'm not touching that one. You think I want the ACLU up my ass? Leave that one for Tucker Carlson. So then in my profile picture, there's just a banner behind me that says F-Bomb Comedy, which is just a random bar show I did at a bar called La Roca in San Francisco. So this idiot messages the guy who runs that show in San Francisco that I did, 7-8 months ago. And just happened to Casey McNeil took a good photo of me. So that just happened to be my profile picture. And she says, hello, I'm writing to request that you terminate. She really pulled out the full HR stuff. I'm writing to request that you terminate your relationship with a comedian named Kevin Quigley. He lives in Somerville, parentheses, Massachusetts. He's made jokes that are anti-Semitic. And then she said, to compare low-income neighborhoods to the ACLU is unacceptable. And I was like, what is she? I didn't compare low. I don't think she got the joke at all. I was saying hey, I don't want the ACLU on my, I wasn't comparing. That doesn't make sense. So she didn't even get the joke. And now she gives the classic, I'm all for comedy, but these remarks are blah, 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 blah.
Who'd she send that to?
She sent it to Marty, the guy who runs the show at F-Bomb Comedy in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Just ran, and then he
messages through email or
through Instagram Messenger, because she saw the thing that said F-Bomb Comedy. And she found the page.
Did the guy respond? Or?
He said I reported him to the FBI for being gay.
That's what he said?
Yeah. And he was messaging me, also at the time, because he was like, what the fuck is going on here? So then this nut, one of her friends was also commenting on my videos, trying to back her up. So then her friend starts messaging me on Facebook randomly, using the exact same name that she was already using to troll my TikTok. And then she's like, I saw you in the People You May Know tool. I thought you looked cute. So then I'm just saying all this shit. She's like, what do you like? And I'm like reading the Quran. And then she's like, I like YouTube videos. And I was like, I like YouTube videos, electronic tutorials. And she's like, what do you mean by that? And I was like, the world will see soon enough. And all this stuff. And then I didn't figure out where she was going with it. So I said, okay, this is boring. I'm done. And then she's like, you're done? Well, and then meanwhile, Marty asked me to change my profile picture because he didn't want any more people messaging him. And then she's like, well, we already got you to change your profile picture. We win. And I was like,
how old are these?
Probably like the same age as us, maybe a little bit older. I don't know.
Pretty pathetic.
So then, so then she's going on, and thank goodness I didn't have anything listed on LinkedIn because she might have actually tried to find my employer. Then she's cooked. She keeps commenting more shit on my videos. She says you're obviously very clever. I'll give you that. Why don't you delete this one and remake it? I'm like, why don't you just fucking the video and move on? Or just block me or whatever. And she also kept blocking me and unblocking me because as I was trying to respond to her shit, I kept seeing her comments would disappear and then they would come back and then they would, because she was blocking me and then being like, I have to say one more thing, And then she makes another fake Facebook and she messages me on that and I ignore her for a bit and she just says, come on, give me attention. So clearly she's just bored. She's pretending that this has something to do with a social justice crusade. And obviously she's not Jewish herself because have you ever met a Jewish? They would have brought it up by now. They can't go 10 seconds. So she's trying to be upset on behalf of other people. So I just say, I'm gay. I can't have sex with you or your friend. I'm sorry. And she said, literally, we're all gay too. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, you did have that video about how dating men is hard. So now she's one of these stolen valor fake gay people, which is also, next thing you know, she's going to self-diagnose herself with Asperger's, which is the next step on the trying to be relevant progression of, so then it was the beautiful, lovely day we had last week where it was snowing. So she said, I'm mad about the anti-Semitism. And I said, the Jews are mad too. Made it snow in October. And then that finally got her to stop. So, she purchased followers. She's mad that she's not getting the likes she wants. Whatever. I get it, We
wish her the best.
We wish her well. Hopefully she'll learn how to make videos that are actually funny someday. I'm skeptical because she doesn't seem to understand how jokes work. So that seems to be a major barrier for her. I will continue making irreverent videos. And then TikTok really boned me. So I make this one video, right? And it was a silly video about how to manage your finances. And then the punchline was just, I saved $90. And I spent that money on cocaine. And I like wave around a little bag of cocaine. May or may not have been real. May have just been baking soda. And they have no way of knowing. So then this thing sits at like 20 likes for like almost 2 days. And I'm like, fuck, I thought that video was funny. Oh, well, it didn't blow up. I watch a movie with my girlfriend with my phone in the other room. I go to get my phone. It's now at almost 5,000 likes. But it has been taken down from TikTok after reaching that point for promoting illegal goods and activities. I was so pissed. I submitted an appeal and they rejected it. But it's so dumb. It's just, I wasn't promoting it. I wasn't saying like, there's where you buy it.
You like TikTok?
Well, TikTok has been the best to me of any social media platform, so I'm probably just going to focus most of my efforts there. And then, eventually, once I get enough following, try to pipeline people into the podcast that way.
Yeah.
But anything I post on TikTok, I'm usually still posting on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Are you back on Facebook?
Yeah. I'm trying to dial it back.
You been back on for real?
Well, I went back on to promote a show that I was doing that ended up getting canceled.
Which one?
It was supposed to be a drive-in show in Cape Cod. Got canceled, but it would have rained to shit that night anyway, so probably wouldn't have been great. But, it is what it is. And then I got sucked back in, and now it's like, okay, well, I'm ramping up the content creation, so let's...
I've been off like Instagram, Facebook. I go on, I try to do like under an hour a week on everything.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to make at least like 3 videos a week. Because TikTok's algorithm will drop you if you're not consistent. So I'm trying to be good about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, I'm looking forward to making more videos. It's going to be hard because there's no conflict anymore because, it used to be easier to make jokes and videos because the country was so divided and there were so many problems, poverty, healthcare is in shambles, disease, war, climate change. And since we solved every single one of those problems, I'm just not really sure what there is to joke about anymore.
You're going to have to make something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the weather's not even going to be bad anymore. Like, there's a tornado watch in Florida right now, and my uncle is, he lives in a condo with no basement, so I wish him well. But, January whatever, that's it for tornadoes. We're fixing it,
Have you done any Zoom shows?
Not recently, really. I'll probably put in for a few. Yeah. I've been thinking about sending my name in the hat for the Comedy Studio. They'd probably put me on.
Yeah.
It's just...
I got my first date there, and then literally I think it was the show that they shut down. It was like a
first show that they shut down?
No, I think it was a Sunday show. I think it was that would have been the first one. So it was my first date there.
Oh,
and then that got shut down.
I remember I had a date at Liquid Courage, and they shut down all of their comedy, and then the pandemic happened like a week later.
Yeah.
So, if they had just held out for a week, they would have not had to admit publicly that their comedy was a huge failure.
What places have shut down? Has anywhere like that runs comedy shut down?
Well, the Liquid Courage is...
Liquid Courage.
They would possibly have come back, but now they're completely slumbering.
What about like Bill's Bar?
Bill's Bar, I think, is surviving. I don't know. The Poorhouse, that whole thing, Poorhouse and McGreevy's both went under a while ago. Improv Boston, obviously. And probably even more sad than Improv Boston is that the Field shut down.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I had more fun getting shit-faced at the Field after I beat stuff than I ever had inside Improv
The
Boston.
Field was great.
Yeah. I got, after the Naked show, I went to the Field, and there was 2 blonde girls who had seen my pecker on stage, and one of them came home with me that night.
Good for you.
I know. That's exactly...
That is how it's supposed to work.
One time I told someone...
That's how it's supposed to work.
I mean, that's... when I'm not a single guy anymore. My girlfriend will probably get mad about that story, and she will listen to this. Sorry, but that is how it's. I told people I did that. They're like, "Oh, you're creepy. You're just doing the show where you're naked on stage so you can be." I'm like, it's not creepy to just talk to someone at a bar. Like, I feel some people are so worried. They got so fucking on edge about the Me Too movement that all of us, anything like being heterosexual just in general was considered creepy.
Like what do you...
Well, like, just like going up to a girl at a bar and being like, oh, she's already seen me naked. If she's talking to me, then that means she probably liked what she saw. So let's have a conversation and maybe it will go, well. Like, I remember once I said, like, if you're a single guy and you're a comic and you get the cruise circuit, it's great because they pay very well.
Do they?
Yeah, well, I mean, compared to fucking a weekend spot where you get $0, then yeah.
Yeah.
No, they pay. It's like you get paid in the thousands to do cruises.
Per
you
show,
do like
per
3
show?
Yeah, you do. Well, it's like a couple thousand, I think, to do like 3 nights or whatever. It's obviously probably case by case and how much of a big deal you are. But you're not actually on the boat the whole time, which is a misconception.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're like picked up at a port and then you're dropped off at a different port. And then they might shuttle you or something. I don't know. I'm pretty sure most of the time when you do a cruise, you're not on it the whole time. But you could have, I don't know.
Cruise circuit seems
Maybe
fun.
get like Orlando Baxter's done the cruise circuit. Maybe we can pick his brain about it sometime. But anyways, I said like if you get paid well, you get to be on the boat, you get free drinks, you get free food. You know, avoid shellfish. I would, from everyone says that when you're on a cruise, don't eat shellfish. You know, even though you're on the water, it's not good shellfish. Anyways, but then if if these girls who are like there to party saw you do the comedy, then seems like as a single guy, that might be a layup line. And I said that once, and then someone was like, creepy. You're being creepy. And I'm like, I don't think that's really creepy. I mean, that's just like, I didn't say anything that they're like, oh yeah, like Always Sunny, Dennis Reynolds, the what does he say? The implication? I was like, there's no implication. There's no threat of violence. Like that, the joke in that was that he was threatening them with violence. That was the there's no threat of violence. It's just a guy doing his thing, and I don't know. These people, they're very, very on edge. They think that any sort of interaction is sexual assault. And as my good friend, who's a comedian, put it, and I won't dox him for this quote because he might not want his name attached to it, but he said, there's some girls out there whose literal fantasy is to get raped, and there's some girls out there who, if you look at them, they'll say it's rape. So, you got to find the balance. I kind of lost track of what I was talking about. Dead air Dennis. Not a good guy. We should start calling him Dead Air Dave.
Dead Air Dave.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I had one job to keep the conversation flowing, and I failed.
All I would say is that Dead Air Dennis was apparently heckling Shane Hoban, and it was like the only Shane Hoban story.
I was there.
It was like, people said it was the only Shane Hoban story where like Shane Hoban wasn't the villain.
Dead Air.
I was like Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, Dead Air went in on him at that open mic. And Hoban, like Shane Hoban got in his face after. It was like, oh my God. It was like, what is going on here?
That's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. And then Shane Hoban got banned.
Shane Hoban should probably be banned from everything. I mean, he's
I hope he's doing well, but
I wish him well.
Who the fuck is Shane Hoban?
Shane Hoban was a guy that...
Shane Hoban is not a comedian. He is a walking ball of ego who tried to punch me after I deliberately harassed him for several minutes.
Is that Dead Air?
That's my very bad impression of him.
Dead Air?
Yeah. So, no, Shane Hoban is a guy who... And you can read about this on the Pedophile Turtle Boys website. You might get added to a watch list for going on a pedophile's website. But, yes, many people in Massachusetts are already on a watch list for the pedophile Aiden Kearney, otherwise known as Turtle Boy, being on his website. It's a comedy show. You can't sue me, bitch. I'm joking. When I say that you got fired from the school for, trying to grope young woman, I'm joking.
What?
I'm joking. I'm just saying Turtle Boy, Aiden Kearney, otherwise known as Turtle Boy, the creator of Turtle Boy Sports or whatever. Like, when I say that he's a huge pedophile who, has committed many untoward acts towards underage and of-age women, I'm just having a laugh. I'm just goofing around. He can't sue me. You can't sue me for saying you're a pedophile, Aiden.
It's a fact.
Yeah, it's a fact that I'm joking about your pedophilia that you really need to keep in check because it's running rampant. And, you've created a media network that sucks. That is not a joke. I mean, Turtle Boy is obviously a horrible network, and you should be ashamed of yourself. And you know what? Thankfully, his head will be on a pike in the middle of Revere Beach soon because Donald Trump has lost. We did it. We saved the country, and we are going to be Nuremberg trialing the shit out of people like him. I'm just joking. Not a threat of violence. Comedy. So Shane Hoban was a guy who started doing comedy. He's clearly got obvious signs of like schizophrenia, and he threatened everyone. He would go to open mics. He would see that there was like people on the list ahead of him, and he just freaked the fuck out that he couldn't go up immediately. He got banned from everywhere. He even got banned from places like the Ontane, which I didn't think was possible to get banned from. Now defunct, R.I.P. to the Ontane. But
Ontane went under too?
Ontane went under before COVID. They moved over to Gramercy Park or something. So anyways, Yeah, after getting banned from a lot of things, he somehow like figured out who like bookers who did like real shows were though, and he would hit them up and he would lie and he would say that like Will Noonan and Lenny Clark, the living legend Lenny Clark, vouched for him, and then these I guess idiots would put him on the show without confirming his references, which is like you're always supposed to check references, like dummy. And then they'd be texting them later, being like, "Why did you vouch for this kid?" And he's like, "I didn't vouch for him. He just gets on stage and rambles nonsense." So then he was booked on a so after getting banned from everything, the only thing that he was not banned from was Rookie of the Year Mark Majori's horrible show at 222. So it was a show where there was a headliner, Alex Giampapa, who's actually like a very good comic, nice guy too, like him a lot. He's been creating some good pandemic content, and so there was him, and then there was a few other comics, and Shane Hoban was doing like a 5-minute spot on the show, and there was a poster for the show. So Shane made his own posters with just a big picture of him, and he just called the event Shane Hoban Live. And then he blasted these big Shane Hoban Live posters all over the North End, the West End, downtown, Post Office Square, you name it. So all these fucking people who like knew that there was comedy at 222 thought that Shane Hoban was some kind of real comedian headliner, instead of a guy who just rambled utter nonsense for 5 minutes. And even the Turtle Boy article, because that guy doesn't check facts at all, because, pedophiles, they tend to have a loose relationship with the truth, as we know. Joking, he's not a pedophile, he is joking. But yeah, so, on the pedophile Turtle Boy's website, it didn't reference the fact that he was just like, he wasn't going to do a 40-minute set. He's not a real comedian. They kept calling him a comedian, which was factually inaccurate. So then I guess around that time, he also messaged the one of the DJs with Jammin' 94.5, and the guy said like, "Oh, I love comedy," and then he said, "Will you come to my show?" And then the dude asked like, "Where is it?" And he never expressed any intention to come. So then Shane Hoban starts posting like, "The DJ from Jammin' 94.5 said he's coming to my show Friday. My favorite," and he didn't even say the name of the guy. He was just like, "The DJ from Jammin' 94.5. So then, anyways, something happens where he was texting a girl. Maybe they had gone on a date. Maybe they had just met. Whatever, something along those lines. And she sent him a text saying like, "Hey, I don't feel much of a connection here. Like I don't really want to pursue this any further. I'm sorry." And then he went on this rant to where he was like, "Screenshotted. Thanks for the material. I'm going to read these texts at the show on Friday. The DJ from Jammin' 94.5 will be there." And he said all this crazy shit. And then someone blew up 222, the venue spot, which, by the way, that place sucks. Like, the owners are cunts. Most of the staff sucks. There was a few good bartenders that worked there, but that place is shithole. So they blew them up. They said, like, "Is this what your bar represents? Is this how you treat you book people who treat women like this?" So naturally, instead of just dropping Shane Hoban from the lineup, they couldn't, because the press was already that it was like his show, because he made all these fake flyers, the Shane Hoban Live. So they just made a statement saying, "Shane Hoban will not be performing at 222 on Friday. We will be hosting an event to benefit like battered woman." Which isn't it crazy that they still call it battered woman? Don't you think they would have retired that term by now? Like victims of domestic, battered woman. That seems like, one that is for of all the terms that we've canceled, we still have this very visceral battered woman. So then that post got like 230,000 shares. It was something ridiculous. All these squids were in the comments saying like, "I live in Ketchikan, Alaska, but when I visit Boston, I'll be coming to the 222. I'm like, don't go to the 222. Go like anywhere. Go on a duck tour. I guess it's better than going to like fucking Cheers, but like, go to a dive bar in Southie, go to Biddy Early's, don't go to 222. This is the shitty, they're like phoning in this Asian fusion thing and $15 cocktails. They suck. That whole neighborhood is horrible. The whole neighborhood is just shit bars. Yeah, someone in their 30s once said, "Hey, you want to go to the greatest bar?" And I'm like, no. What the fuck? I'm not an 18-year-old with a fake ID. Why are you asking the greatest bar? Jesus Christ. Fucking sue me. I'm surprised you guys haven't gone out of business yet. Yeah, greatest bar. It's like, my friend's a DJ and he's doing a set at the greatest bar. And I'm like, I'll fucking call you. And I was like, speaking of, groping underage girls, that's where you do it. It's the greatest bar. Not where I do it, because I wouldn't go there. But that seems to be where you, the character in the story, is doing it. And probably your DJ friend also, because that's just a, your DJ friend's probably bumping fists with Aiden Kearney, Uncle Turtle Boy. Joking. No, so so then Shane Hoban, meanwhile, he had also made up this like fake narrative that he was a recovering drug addict, which was not true. He like never did drugs. All these people from like Quincy, where he's from. Also, another thing is that he made up this narrative where he was from South Boston when he was from Quincy, because he wanted that like from the street, stolen valor, cred, whatever. But apparently, like, yeah, he'd go to a party and he'd smoke like one hit of weed and freak out. And he made up this fake narrative that he was like on heroin or something. And then he posted like, relapse today, a lot of bad press about me. So then Turtle Boy writes his article, when he's taking a break from committing horrible sex crimes. Joking. And then the Jammin' 94.5 people, they keep getting blown up on Twitter about this because he said the DJ from Jammin' 94.5 supported it. So then he had to go on the air and, read the DMs out loud and, make a public statement about why they didn't support him. And, so he's nuts. He's clearly very mentally ill. So I don't want to say I wish him the best. I mean, he did threaten my life for no reason, and he threatened Fanikos' life. And I think I skipped that part when I was telling the story. But, randomly one day he hit me up, and I didn't know who he was. This was a few weeks before the controversy. And I think it was because he saw that I was booking the Melrose show, and he was like, I'm killing it. I'm headlining. I'm going to New York. And I was like, cool, man. And he was like, thinking about starting a show at the Hard Rock Cafe. I'm thinking Wednesday or Thursday. And I thought he was like maybe asking me for advice because I've been around longer than him. So I was like, you should do Thursday, because there used to be a Thursday mic in that neighborhood. And people are really hungry for something that would fill that slot. And then he goes, and he's like, also, there's already enough shows on Wednesday. And he says, yeah, I don't really give a fuck what people want. I don't care what they think. I don't care about you, comedy police. So why are you talking shit about someone? And I was like, stop talking shit about you. I thought you were, why are you talking shit about someone who could kill you with one pinky? And I was like, okay. And then he said some really nonsensical stuff. He was like, I know the jealousy. It's a female trait. You want to cuddle? I'm a good cuddler. And I was like, this guy's nuts. And then he was like, the bar that you run a show at gave money when my grandfather died. I know the owner. You fucked up. So I text the owner of Murphy's Law, and he was like, yeah, I don't know who this kid is. And then, you gave him a ride home, and he threatened to kill you for that. So really something. Guy can't even get a ride home without threatening to kill someone. Should have just made him walk. Maybe he would have found some of that heroin he pretends to be such a fan of. I don't know. Oh, Shane Hoban. But whatever. Shane Hoban is
like your favorite topic.
Yeah, well, he's probably been cured of his mental illness because we did it. Donald Trump's not president. So Shane Hoban is they cured schizophrenia.
Now, Kevin, how's your bounty going?
The bounty from Kevin Kahn?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I will say about one thing is that, usually my enemies from social media are old white men. So to have it be like a young, spry white girl, that was a good change of pace. She's a lot more resourceful. Like, she knew how to message the F-bomb guy. She's still kind of a moron. I mean, there's other things she could have found, like my parents. She could have found, I think she like ran out of energy and gave up pretty fast. But yeah, that Kevin Kahn guy is haven't heard anything from him. But I got a man on the inside. Maybe we haven't heard the last from that.
I'm from the class of 73.
He's from the class of 73, and he's going to sue me for deformation of character for making fun of his fake girlfriend. Well, I don't know what to say, guys. I'm kind of a badass. No one saw it coming. But, I'm a joker. I'm a smoker. Midnight toker. And I don't use soap. Twice a week I use soap. I don't know. I probably use soap more often than that. I'm going off the cuff. Yeah. It's crazy, I wonder what Crystal Ball thinks about all this. Crystal Ball, the news personality with this very stupid name. What's funny is that Mia Khalifa sounds more like a real name, or rather, Mia Khalifa sounds like less of a porn star's name than Crystal Ball, and Crystal Ball is her legal name, her birth name, in fact.
Really?
Yeah, her father was a physicist who studied crystals, and for some reason was under the impression that gave him a hall pass to give his child just a completely asinine name. It's like, cool, you study crystals, you realize you're giving your child a porn name. And then, then she ran for office. It's like, dude, you're trying to run for office. Like, when I first heard about her running for office, I thought it was one of those, like, because there's this other porn star, Mary Carey, that has run for office a couple of times as, like, a joke just to get her name out there. I thought she was pulling a Mary Carey, who I believe is her name is supposed to be a parody of Mariah Carey, as is.
Now, is Crystal's middle name Sugar, too?
Crystal Sugar Ball. I don't get it.
Sugar it's another
Ball?
stripper name.
Sugar.
Yeah.
S-U... What did you say, Sugar?
No, I said sugar. Sorry, I have a speech impediment.
Sugar. Oh, okay.
And it's fall, so my allergies are acting up.
My allergies were acting up bad this week. Which is a little weird because, we did it. We saved the world. All of the problems of the world are gone, that we dumped the racists. So it's a little ragweed season I kind of thought was going to be something we left in the Trump administration. But I guess we got to wait till January. On a more serious note, what about these idiots I say they're like, since when does these people who want the recount, whatever, and it's like, whatever, count them. I mean, apparently they're just trying to throw away the ballots that were for Biden. So that's not really, that's what they mean by recount, is to just literally throw away votes that were for Biden. But who are these idiots that I see them always say, since when does the mainstream media decide who the president is? I'm like, first of all, always. Trump was a rare exception to that. And B, like, they're fucking counting the votes, dude, and just reporting it. It's like, since when, you see the verdict from the Bill Cosby trial. Since when does the mainstream media decide who's and who's not a rapist? Like, that doesn't make any sense. The mainstream media is reporting the results. And all these people are in this, the mainstream media has called the race. I'm like, yeah, because there's just not a million Trump votes somewhere. Oh, Jesus Christ. People are so... They're acting like they wouldn't be doing this if it weren't when Trump won, I think most liberals' reaction was like, oh, wow, this was a bigger movement than we anticipated. And then when Trump lost, the people on the other side, their reaction was like, there's tyranny afoot. I'm like, nah, dude, your whole meme is that, everyone thinks Orange Man is bad. So it would stand to reason that if everyone thought Orange Man was bad, he would lose the election. I don't know.
They got out-memed.
Well, the problem is the Lincoln Project's memes aren't funny. And it's a very horrible class of person that thinks they are funny. Just like neoliberal shill, sanitized bullshit. It's so sanitized that, you may as well be drinking bleach, like the president has suggested. But yeah, it's really... The Lincoln Project is now doxing the people who they're like, this person supports Trump. I'm like, you created the situation in which Trump would become president. You supported Trump. I fucking hate those guys.
Now, what about the truck shop to Pennsylvania and Michigan, like 4 a.m. in the morning with all the Biden ballots?
They arrived at 4 a.m. in the morning with all the Biden ballots?
Yeah, the day after the election.
Well, maybe they got, maybe they were just having gay sex at the truck stop and they needed, to wait until the morning because,
They need to ask the Illuminati for directions?
Possible. I believe there are also laws that the trucks have to stop and sleep for a certain amount of time, in a 24-hour cycle. I'm not sure how enforced those laws are. I also didn't read this. I don't know if it's from QAnon.
No, Breitbart.
From Breitbart. Oh, that's great. Yeah, those guys are generally, Someone posted a link that was like, Mitch McConnell says that they should put so-and-so's head on a pike. And I'm like, oh, not Mitch McConnell, Steve Bannon. I was like, oh, Steve Bannon is a radical? This is not something I've ever heard. I thought Steve Bannon was like, like the belle of the ball. I thought he was a clear, level-headed guy, like Bill O'Reilly. The no spin zone, clear, level-headed guy who tried to get his wife excommunicated from the church and, would lock people in his office. Clear and level-headed. Maybe clear and level-headed just means that, I'm not going to say it means you don't yell, because Bill O'Reilly was also like a guy who yelled all the time. I'm not really sure where they got that branding from. I think they're just so far gone that clear and level-headed is like yells only half the time and hasn't killed any woman. that we know of.
See, the only thing I remember about Bill O'Reilly is he used to always boast about my huge numbers, like it's a Viagra ad or something.
Yeah, I mean, everything on Fox is like, well, Fox is also like they'll run stories that are like uncorroborated and then say, why isn't the mainstream media reporting on this? And they're like, they are the most watched media network. Like it's like Trump being the president and always acting like he's, he acts like a little bitch. He's like, everyone's out to get me, and blah, blah, blah. It's like he's the president. He's like acting like he's not in this position of unprecedented power. And Fox News does the same thing. They're boasting about their numbers and then simultaneously saying that they're not the mainstream media somehow. The most of the country is white dads. So, and that's the Fox News demo. They got standards. They don't even let the gun girl on the network. You know how desperately she wants to be a correspondent for Fox News? They don't let her. That's how pristine the Fox News network's standards for reporting are. They're like, nope, sorry. We need straight hair and soft features. We can't get this goofy bitch with her ramen hair.
Need Tommy Lahren on the show.
Well, Tommy Lahren started on like some other thing, and then The Blaze, and then crossed over to Fox News, but they might be owned by the same company. I don't even know. Tommy Lahren is not a real person, is the thing. Tommy Lahren is a character that was created by a team of writers and marketers, and she's played by an actress whose name happens to be Tommy Lahren. I mean, she's played by like the shell of the person that was born Tommy Lahren. I mean, if you've seen the amount of surgery she had, it's quite something. I wonder if she has scarring under all the makeup. Who knows? But when people are, did you see that Tommy Lahren said that? I was like, Tommy Lahren has never said anything. Tommy Lahren is a phantasm. She's not real.
She's like Kirsten Sinema.
She like one time on The View, she spoke her actual opinion and then she got suspended. And now she's learned that lesson. She'll never do it again. So she's like not a real, she's a creation of a corporation designed to spark outrage. She sits in this weird all-white house with, like, 2 wine glasses on a shelf in the background. Yeah. She's not a real person.
Birds aren't real.
Yeah, I mean, she's not a real person, and those are both true.
No, that's a conspiracy theory that...
I know birds aren't real. Yeah, they were created by Panasonic to spy on us. Obama did it. Obama and Bush, people acted like they hate each other, but they were really both sending birds into the planes that did 9/11 to take down the engines Sullenberger style. What do you feel about that, Matt?
This is news to me. I'm not.
He's not up to date in the whole steel beam controversy.
Yeah. You didn't know? Oh, yeah. No, this is all true. It's verified. Comedy program, can't sue.
How come Mythbusters never tested that?
Of jet fuel can't. Well, I believe it's a jet fuel can't melt steel beams, but the temperature would weaken the integrity of a steel beam. Like it gets hot enough where the beam would then bend. Like if you look at the videos of the Twin Towers falling, there's no actual molten liquid metal involved. It's all just like collapsing.
Collapse.
Yeah, because it's like
it happens fast.
People think of it like ice, but it's not like ice. It's more like if you took a piece of rubber and you heated it, it would not melt into a liquid, but it would become much easier to bend.
Got it.
Yeah. I mean, they were holograms anyway, so who cares?
They're really missiles. Well, funny enough, how we have 0 video evidence of the Pentagon getting hit.
Yeah, no.
The most secure place in the world.
Well, maybe that's why there's no video. It's secure. They secured it in Obama's anus.
The tapes are behind 30-foot.
I love this. When one time the reporter asked Trump, the other day you tweeted that Obama is responsible for the greatest political scandal in history. Can you speak to exactly what crimes he's committed? And then he says, Obamagate. It's all out there. Like he's starting to push this Obamagate theory and he's not quite sure what it even is. And then the other day, then right after that, he just tweeted, he got caught, #Obamagate. I really need Trump to make a public statement, though. I need my Pa Trump content. Like, I think they're worried that if he makes a statement, it will be considered a concession speech, even if he doesn't concede. But I'm tired of just hearing his tweets. I need him to get up there and, really peak and say a bunch of ludicrous shit that, the world's dumbest people will believe, but the world's also dumbest people will be like, can you believe he said that? He's awful.
You think he's going to run in 2024?
If he's still alive, I wouldn't be surprised. Because I feel like he's going to establish some kind of Trump media network, which will just be nonstop laws, and then, might radicalize enough people. The thing about 2024 is also that Biden is probably not going to do anything, and even if he was going to do anything, he probably won't be able to do anything if there's a Republican majority in the Senate. So none of these, aside from the fact that we did it and we saved the day and everything's going to be fine now, Trump is still probably going to have a great platform to run on. The whole Biden didn't do anything, except for, of course, save the day, and, we did it. He will probably be running against Kamala, let's be honest. They're shipping that guy off into the Potomac. They got the trail of candy. I hear he seems like a Werther's Original guy. He's getting to that age. Nice Werther's Original. You could probably trick that guy with Hal's cough drops. He's you could just put raisins.
They can just cancel him the day after the inauguration. Kamala will be like, oh, he put his hands on my ass. Let's throw him out.
Yeah. He probably made out with Kamala by accident because he thought it was his granddaughter.
Those aren't blonde legs.
Yeah. His granddaughter got to die. Kamala, she's gonna put him in jail. She's gonna put everyone in jail. The problem is Trump is what, $400 million in debt, something like that. So that's that means he's probably poor enough for Kamala to put in jail. She doesn't really put rich people in jail, only impoverished people. So we could probably do this. Mitch McConnell and Rudy Giuliani both have weird zombie hands. So, if they were to pass away, that would be, great news for us. But unfortunately she wouldn't be able to put them in jail. So it's sad. It's really sad, but whatever. It just feels so great to live in a country where we did it. We saved the country. We saved the United States of Amerigo Vespucci. Vespucciano.
And that's about 1 hour.
It's about 1 hour? Okay, Matt, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, thanks for having me.
Penis.
Good to see you. Good to see you again.
Seaman, good to see you. Yeah, I'm going to go get a roast beef after this, but I know you're a vegetarian, so yeah, it's sad.
Where are you going?
Probably Angelo's in Saugus, newer place, opened in October.
You're a vegetarian now?
Yeah. I've been I'm a vegan, but I've been for 3 years.
So how do you ever eat vegan pizza?
I've had vegan pizza. I do a lot of beans. I do Impossible meat, which is really good, high protein, Beyond Meat.
I think protein powder is mostly vegan.
Yeah, a lot of it has like whey in it. Whey's like a dairy.
Oh,
whey's a dairy?
Yeah, whey's.
Whey was like a
no
plant.
way.
Whey or casein has dairy in it.
Oh, I know casein. Yeah.
Casein.
Well, I've bought ones that are vegan.
Yeah, they're fine.
They're all from like celery and shit.
They all taste like shit.
Not all of them are bad. I used to have a vegan one that actually tasted really good. It was like a chocolate milkshake thing, but it was vegan.
Like you get used to it, but like the first time, it's like.
See, it's weird for me.
Yeah,
I can eat meat. It's just animal products make me.
Look at me.
I
don't eat protein.
Upset.
I made some great steak tips the other night.
If it has dairy, forget about it. It's like liquid cancer.
Yeah.
All right, this is starting to turn into the Howard Stern show. So let's wrap it up. Just remember, we saved the day. We saved the country. We did it. Good night. Coronavirus is cured. The pharmaceutical companies care about us, and they're going to save us. They're not going to put any heroin on the streets to try to, break up minority communities of color. The tobacco companies are also not that bad. Celebrate with a cigar. We did it, folks. We saved the country. Good night.